Hi, I'm Steve Sapato. My clock says 9 o'clock exactly on a Friday. How about yours? What does it say? Look down at it, right? Now, without looking down again, what color is the face of your watch?
Get your ticket now.
Yeah, interesting how we look at stuff and don't see, right? Well, we've titled this episode uh, in a way that I think you'll really relate to it, which is you don't know what you won't know. What Yep, that's what I want you to understand. You don't know what you won't know. Now, you've heard the expression, you don't know what you don't know. Well, I appreciate that. But most of us suffer from this. You don't know what you won't know. We don't really open our minds. We don't really let ourselves learn all the stuff. Especially if it goes against what we already know. I tell the story that my son was 15 years old, I think. Kevin Roberts said to me, he said, uh, you have to don't make your kid get a job when he turns 16. Well, I'm from John Deere country, so it was like, oh no, we got to teach him the value of hard labor. And he said, no, you don't want your kid to get a job when they're 16 because they're only going to learn from people who are trying to avoid work. Now, that's the truth, isn't it? If they got a job at McDonald's or wherever, they're not learning from the cream of the crop. They're not learning from the managers and the supervisors. They're learning from the people at the bottom making minimum wage, trying to figure out how to do as little for their job probably as and avoid work as much as anything else. And it really stuck home with me because at first I was, no, no, I'm rebelling against that idea. And then it went, oh, you know what? That might be a pretty good idea. He said, instead, pay your kids to read books of your choosing and do a book report. Well, I won't bore you with the rest of the story, but let's suffice it to say, but I started my kid on small books like Acres of Diamonds, Millionaire Next Door, those kind of things. Of course, got him into Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, that type of thing. And he went on to read more financial books. And now he's 34 years old and travels the country and the world. He's over in, where's he at? I don't know. Estonia. He's in Estonia right now. He and his wife living the good life. And you know what? He doesn't have to work three-quarters of his life. And now that he's over there, he may not have to work much at all because he managed his money so well. And so when we talk about it, we rebel at first. Most of us say, hey, you don't know what you don't know, duh. But most of us should be saying, you don't know what you won't know. How do you open your mind? How do you grow to become? Well, first of all, let me back up. We're brought here by Speaker Talks, the event. You can see it posted here. The event that helps speakers and authors and other people who have a message to share get on stage, get a professional recording of that message so that they can share their message with the world. And most of us, that's what we really want to do. Also, we're here because part of what we do is Transform Mastermind, where we get masterminds together to help people grow their businesses and their lives. And that's through Elena Rayrig's Transform Mastermind on Facebook. You can also go to my Engaging Speakers group on Facebook and join and get more tips and more information on how you can become an engaging speaker, connect with your audience better, become a better promoter, be a better presenter. And that's what it's all about. So when we talk about you don't know what you won't know, it's all about opening our minds. Let me give you an example. I don't know if this will be backwards or forward, but like here's a Debbie Allen book, Success is Easy, right? If you haven't read Debbie Allen's Success is Easy, go pick up a copy, right? How about The Magic of Thinking Big? Yep, you should have that book. It should be in your library and you should read it honest. You should read it every year, if not every 6 months. There's also my book, Small Business Riches, right? So if you want to read a book, pick up Small Business Riches. I'm sure it'll help. Here's Brendan Bouchard's High Performing Habits. If I can lose my virtual reality screen. But there's lots of others. I've got several books that I'm listening to on audiobooks right now. If you're not listening to those books and you want a copy of the ones I'm listening to for communication skills, drop me an email, steve@stevesapato.com. But it's all about learning and growing and listening and reading and finding out what you don't know and being open. I spent the last month just freaking myself out because I did a talk and it was about growth, personal growth. And I go back to 1995 and I was teaching college. I'm coming out of the college parking lot and I heard an advertisement that said, never go to a bookstore again. Buy your books online at amazon.com. And of course, I rebelled. I was like, no, no, no. I want to hold that book. I want to grab that book. I want that book in my face so that I can read it. And I missed the bigger picture. You see, the world was changing right at that moment. World had changed. If I'd have bought Amazon stock in 1995, I'd be a millionaire today. But I didn't because I didn't see it. I rebelled. I fought against it. That's what I want you to stop doing. I'm on here all the time to talk to you about how you can become better, how you can grow your business more easily, how you can grow it the way you want it to be, right? Are you where you want to be financially right now, or would you like to be double, triple financial place you are right now? Maybe you got $250,000 in the bank. Would you like to have 1 million? Maybe you got 20,000 in the bank. Maybe you'd like to have 100,000. So how do you get that? How does that happen? Maybe your business, you're doing 5 customers a month and you want to do 20 or 10 or 7, right? Um, I talk to realtors all the time and I love how they rebel against what they won't know. Okay. So I ask all the time, realtors, how's business? They always say good or great. Well, down here in Florida, every house, every single house, okay, is getting 4, 5, 7 offers every time it goes up on the market because it's so in demand right now. Everybody's moving to Florida. So selling the house is not the problem. Getting the listing is the problem. And so many realtors say, I can't get the listings. I can't get the listings. And I sit down with them sometimes if they're even open to talking and ask them, well, what have you done the last 2 to 5 years that would guarantee that you would get more listings? And they go, what do you mean? And I go, well, it shouldn't even be what you mean. It's, yeah, no, yeah, I can't do that. I haven't done anything. But when I've talked to people in the past, they always say, well, I have a business coach. I have a real estate coach in my office, right? I have a real estate coach in my office. And I go, great. They go, so I don't need your advice, Steve. I went, great. So if you're selling 17 houses and you've been selling 17 houses for the last 3 years, and you want to sell 25, right? And they go, yeah, yeah. I go, well, explain to me how your coach in the office is helping you do that. And they go, well, we do regular coaching, we do regular workshops. And I went, but if you've been selling the same number, you see what I'm saying? They've been selling the same number of houses, whether it's 5 houses, whether it's 18 houses for the last 3, 4, 5 years, and it hasn't grown. Well, then how good is your coach? Wouldn't you rather invest in a solid, because I don't know how much money realtors make. Let's say, I know they make 6%. So let's say they're selling a $300,000 house. 6% of 300 is $18,000, right? But they don't get to keep it all. I know that. So let's say they only keep 7,000 of it, 8,000 of it, right? They only keep 8,000 on a $300,000 house in their pocket. So if I'm charging them $6,500 to be their coach, right? And I help them sell one more house, they still made $1,500 and learned a whole boatload of stuff from their new coach. And if I teach them how to sell one new house every 6 months, then they're making $10,000. If I taught them how to sell a house, an additional house every month, so that they went from 17 to 29 or 30 houses. Think how their income increased. But you see, they're already locked in here. They're like, I don't need a coach. I have one in my office. If you're working with somebody and they're not producing the results you want, find somebody who will, right? Invest in yourself again. Become the person who will open their mind and find out what it will take to be more successful. So here today, we're going to be talking about a couple different things, all right? So we're primarily going to be talking about the thing that we just blipped on, which is what don't you know? And most people don't know how much they need to improve their public speaking. You just don't know. I was just watching somebody earlier today, and I watch a ton of stuff, I listen to a ton of stuff, and this person who's a pro was going, um, I need to, we need to, and then after this, and I'm like, man, get your stuff together. Are you a professional? They were a professional. If you don't sound like a professional, guess what? People aren't going to treat you like a professional. It's vital to your success that people see you as the expert. The reason I offer speaker talks, and I'm going to click on this little banner right here. The reason I offer speaker talks, it's for people, speakers, right? People who have a message, something to share. They want to be seen as the expert. You want to be seen as the expert. How much would your business change if everybody looked at you like the expert in your field. I ask realtors, and I use realtors all the time because they're the easy target. They're just sitting there, they're, what are you, chicken on the bone or something like that. And I say, so what differentiates you from all the other realtors out there? And they go, well, I give better customer service. Well, I do this. Well, I guarantee. Everybody guarantees the same stuff. Here's my question. If somebody walks into your open house, or if you walk in to try and persuade them to use you over all the other realtors going to list this house, because that's what they're after now, listings. They need listings. Every house sells. They need more listings. And so what differentiates you? I said, what would happen if you walked into that house and you said, here's a copy of my new book on real estate in Florida. Wow, do you just raise up? Are you up a whole level just because you wrote a book on real estate in Tampa, real estate in Newport Richie, real estate in, right? People look at you differently. Why? Because suddenly you're an expert. You wrote the book on that real estate. How many other realtors wrote the book on real estate? Not many. And I ask them all the time, do you write a book yet? And they're like, oh, no. So I asked that of everybody. I worked with Tim Sparks, and he's a human resource person and talks about change management. And Tim, when he was at Speaker Talks, he won Speaker Talks in 2020. And when we talk about that, I said, have you written your book yet? And he says, no. I went, better get one written. That's how you become more in demand. You're the expert. He wrote his book, right? And he got that book together, and now he says, here's my book, and here's what I speak on. Wow, he's now the expert, isn't he? What do you do that you need to be an expert in, right? Oh, forgot to shut off my phone. Right, got to do that. What do you do that you would like to be the expert in? Would more people come to you if you were the expert in your field? If you were the one people look to? If people, would they come to you more often? If you're just an author, I say just an author. Boy, it sure seems like everybody and their brother's trying to become an author these days, doesn't it? And a lot of them are like, I'm a best-selling author. Who cares, right? Unless you're on the New York Times best-selling. If you're a New York Times best-selling author, boy, I'm looking up to you. But if you're just an Amazon.com best-selling author, we could all be that. Every single one of us, if we wanted to put in a little work, a couple days worth of work, to find our niche and become an Amazon best-selling author. What is important on that is, what are you the expert in? Doesn't matter if you're a best-selling author. What are you the expert in? So I don't care if you're a plumber. I don't care if you're a speaker. What are you the expert in? You're the expert in leadership. If you're the insurance person, have you written a book on insurance? Right? What are you the expert in? So that's one of the things we got to talk about. So when I talk about, I got a whole list here of things that we could chat with on why you should be paying closer attention to your professional and public speaking persona. You know what? I think when I talk to people, I really work on stuff. And no, see, you just lost credibility. Don't let that happen. Don't let it happen, right? So instead, so how do you get better at public speaking? Well, you practice, practice, practice. Get on a camera, put one up in your office, put one in your room, and do live videos for yourself. Don't do them live on Facebook, because there's lots of things I need to teach you about Facebook Lives. Do you want to be important? Do you want to be impressive? Do you want to have people watch and listen to your stuff? Then when you get on Facebook, be succinct, right? Get heard, get visible. And you don't do that by saying, hey, I'm here on Facebook, and we're going to wait a few more minutes for a few people to come. No, you're not. The people who are there are the most important people, right? Put down in my comments. You probably won't listen to this except on the replay, but put in the comments, right? The things that you say, hey, I want to know this. I have a question about that. How come this? What about that? Ask me anything you want. And then say, Steve, I also do this. How could I be an expert in my field? Steve, I do that. Steve at stevesapato.com if you want to write to me privately. Or you can just post down here in the messages. It'll be up for, I think, a couple of days or a couple of weeks. I don't know how long these stay live. All right. But go ahead and practice on your own self, on yourself, on your personal videos. get good looking at yourself. I remember the first time, I don't know how old I was, but I remember the first time I heard myself on a recording. And, I'm listening to the group. Everybody was chatting. And I went, "Hey, who is that?" And they went, "What?" I went, "That." And they went, "That's you." I went, "No way. That's how I sound?" You see, didn't even realize how I sounded. When you hear your own voice for the first time, you're like, "Wow, that's weird." A lot of people go, "Oh, I hate my voice." Stop it. Quit it right now. That's your voice. Yeah, you can make it higher, you can make it this, you can make it that. You can do all kinds of things with your voice. So, if you don't like your voice, go to a voice coach. Have them help you with how you breathe and how you will talk and how you will do certain things. And do I have a voice for radio? No, I have a face for radio. Thanks a lot. I don't appreciate that. Quit it. All right. But when you're doing that, also, you don't want to thank people for coming in. If you're doing a Facebook Live, you don't want to look over at the chats and go, "Hey, thanks, Connie. Thanks, Ted. Thanks, Bob." Well, nobody knows Bob or Connie or Ted, and they don't care whether you want to thank them or not. Thank them after the event. If they are good enough friends, they will comment. They will share your video. Isn't that the most important part of this? Don't like what I do, share it or comment on it. That's how we move up in the rankings. Don't like my stuff, stop liking my stuff, start commenting, start sharing. And I know people hear that and they just go, "Oh, I'm going to ignore that." People don't know what they won't know. You want people involved with you. If you've got 1,000 fans or 1,000 people, friends on your Facebook or your LinkedIn, you want people who are going to share your information. Wow. Think of the reach and how that changes when you have 1,000, they have 1,000, they have 1,000. Suddenly you're reaching 3,000 people instead of 1,000 that maybe, if the algorithms are right, you might reach 200 of. It's important that we start to understand what speaking can do for you, what speaking can do. So get over your fear of speaking in public. And how do you do that? You do that by practicing. You do that by making mistakes. You do that by blah, 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 and say, I'm trying to be a better presenter and I just messed that up bad. People aren't expecting perfection. They're expecting authenticity. And that's what you have to offer them. So when we talk about, one of the first things you have to do is overcome your fear. Because first of all, when you overcome your fear, you'll be so much more confident. And when your confidence comes up, people look at you differently. You ever seen somebody who's mousy looking in there, like over there going, "No, I don't know. I'm going to sit in the corner and pay no attention." You kind of look over at them and go, "Wow, that's sad, isn't it?" Right? Or they're in a group and they can't be heard and they just kind of, oh, mouse out. Well, nobody wants to hear what I have to say. But when your confidence is at its peak, even if you're ignored, people go, "That's funny that they would ignore that person who seemed to have a lot to say, but they didn't want to hear from them at all. I wonder what they had to say." And maybe they'll make an effort to talk to you. You see, all kinds of things happen when you overcome your fear of speaking in public. Phenomenal transition. What's the other one? I said, okay, how to be more confident in front of the camera. Well, that's how you do it. You just practice. You watch yourself. You look at yourself. And then when you're ready, you do your Facebook Live or you do your first recorded video and use a program where you could caption the bottom. I'm here on StreamYard. And StreamYard, you can caption this kind of thing. So, right, if you want to get better, I'm doing this event called Speaker Talks. And it's down here in Tampa. It's coming up this time in June, June 9th and 10th. So if you want to be a great speaker, either come and watch, you're welcome to come to the audience. This is like a TEDx type venue where you can come sit in the audience, take notes, learn and grow how to become a great speaker, where we'll be doing 2 days. The first day is for the speakers, how to move on stage, how to grow on stage, how to be better on stage, how to get their voice inflections down. So the first day is meant to help the speakers who will be presenting on the 10th. Right? And that's where everybody gets 15 minutes to demonstrate their expertise on a topic. And they get to talk for 15 minutes. I don't determine what they want to talk about. All I do is make sure that they're going to talk as a professional, right? So they get 2 months worth of training from me personally, 2 months worth of training to become a great speaker. I will teach them how to do a little storytelling. I'll teach them how to create their signature talk, which is what the 15 minutes will be. Because if you're going to go on and become a speaker, you'll need a 55-minute talk. And you'll have to learn how to cruise that down from, or carve that down from 55 minutes down to 30 minutes, let's say, depending on who wants to hear you talk and when you're going to be speaking, and how what critical information you can add in or take away depending on what you're doing. All of that comes in. So you got storytelling, you got signature talk, all has happened in that 15-minute talk. And for 2 months, I teach you how to give that talk so that you will have a professionally recorded video that you can share and people will see you as the expert. And isn't that what's going to change your life? Being seen as the expert. That's what changes people. The reason Gary Vaynerchuk is considered an expert, the reason, what's his name, Simon Sinek is an expert, is because enough people wanted to hear what they had to say that they would share that. Hey, you got to hear this person. Wow, you got to see. Hey, have you seen Gary Vaynerchuk? Wow. And when they start saying, hey, have you seen Steve Sapato? Have you listened to some of his videos? When they start doing that, guess what? Everything comes up and people will go, oh, I haven't seen Steve Sapato. Let me click and find Steve Sapato on there. And then they say, oh, I like what he had to say about this. I like what he had to say. Hey, we should hire that person in. And that's what you want to do. So if you're looking at becoming, if you have a message to share, if you want to become a great speaker, if you have books that you need to sell, and you're not going to sell your books just because they're damn good books, not gonna. You got to be able to talk about it, and you got to be able to market them, and that comes verbally. Okay. Um, uh, if you don't know about how to become a great speaker, you're only hurting your future. I tell people all the time, I'm trying to find teenagers who want to be great speakers. Parents, you and I know that if you can help your child be a good speaker, a good presenter, be able to stand up in front of their class, be able to stand up in front of a situation where they're trying to get a job with confidence, right? Exude that confidence. Learn how to present themselves in a way that will change their lives, especially in today's virtual world. This virtual world, if you're looking to get a teenager put into that, it's $500 for a 3-month program. $500 for your teenager to start learning how to be a great presenter. Man, how do you beat that, right? And that's because I want to do it as a group. I want to get 5 to 10 teenagers involved in that stuff and help them grow their speaking ability so that they have confidence, so they can be seen as a leader, which will obviously change their lives. So if you want that, give me a holler, steve@stevesapato.com. And the other part of that, of course, is when you realize just your elevate, we call it an elevator pitch. Does that irritate you? Because here's what we already know. Nobody likes to be sold, but everybody likes to buy. So if we're giving an elevator pitch, what are we trying to do? Sell them. So should we change that? Change it to, here, I'll be glad to help you with that, an opportunity talk. You want to learn how to give a great opportunity talk that will create more opportunities for you in any networking you go to? Talk to me, steve@stevesapato.com. Let's get your opportunity talk done. I charge you $500. Yep. People say $500 to do an elevator pitch? No, $500 to learn how to do an opportunity talk where when you're done, people will say, I need to talk to you. Hey, Steve, I'm going to write to you because I want to go over some things with you. If whatever you do and whenever you present it in front of a group or an organization for your 1-minute opportunity talk, people now want to talk to you because you did it correctly. We're not trying to sell people. We're trying to teach them, help them see what we can do for them. And when they realize what we can do for them, they will reach out. I expect out of every time I talk, I expect at least one person to go, I need to learn how to be a better presenter. I need to learn how to represent my business. I need to know how to be able to sell more. Selling is such a skill, and most companies don't train their staff on how to be great salespeople. Oh, I've been involved in car sales, in house alarm sales, and all kinds of sales. IBM. I was trained by IBM. IBM sent me down at 24 years of age. Sent me down to Dallas, Texas for 3 months of sales training. Now, wherever you're working, did your company teach you for 3 months how to be a great salesperson, how to answer those objections, how to construct a question so that the client goes, "Tell me more," or "I need that." Follow me? If you're not, that's why people hire me. I can help you become an absolutely phenomenal salesperson by not only learning how to be a better salesperson, what questions to ask, but what order to ask questions. Even things like, when you ask for a referral, why do most of the time people don't get referrals when they ask for a referral? And the answer to that is real simple. They ask for a referral. Well, if we're sitting here talking and I'm telling you, hey, this was great. I really like your windows and siding, and they've been really good. Well, Steve, can you give us me a referral of somebody else who needs the windows and siding? Um, hmm, I can't think of anybody right now. And I don't care what you're selling, cars, insurance, Tootsie Rolls. People go, I don't think I have any. Why? Because we didn't open up the right boxes. You never got to opening the referral box. And that's important. If the referral box isn't open, right, or you use the wrong technology, can you tell me anyone? Hey, do you know anyone who would like to buy widgets? We go, anyone. Boy, that's everybody we know and everybody we've ever known. We can't focus. You ask the question in the wrong way, right? Even if you ask it the right way, do you know someone that you know personally who really wants windows and siding? And we're like, no. And because we haven't got to that box, we didn't ask the right questions to get that window, to get the referral open so we can now say, hey, right? It's a phenomenal process, and if you aren't doing it, you need to start doing it. So, what I want you to understand, what this whole thing was designed for today, was so that you understand that when you don't know what you won't know, and one of those things is how important being a great public speaker is to your success, how vital it is to your growth, not just your personal growth. How about your relationship growth? How about your business growth, right? Right? How about your spiritual growth? We have all kinds of things that we need to chat about. And when we talk about what you won't know is because our minds are closed. I don't need to know that. I have people all the time. I don't see how that would help me. Well, I appreciate that, right? I appreciate that they don't see how whatever that is being offered won't help them. I appreciate that because they won't see it. They're not open to it. We haven't opened the right boxes in their mind so they would go, oh. And I hope what I've done for you today is help you to open the right boxes so that you will see how important being a good presenter is to the success of your business. Now, if you want to talk about small business coaching, I can help you with that too. I see all these places struggling and they haven't done some of the absolute basics to get people back into their place or think of them, put them top of mind, especially with the new I can buy everything online, you know, opportunities. Everybody can buy everything online. So you have to have the right answers. So if you want to just get better, you want to get better, right? You want to have, do, be, or become more than you are today. Let me say that again. Would you like to have, do, be, or become more than you are today, right? Then probably a little bit of light reading might help you. Would you like to get my white paper to help you have more than you do today? A 5-minute read, maybe it'll change your life, maybe it not. But what do you got to lose? It's free, right? So if you would like to have, do, or become more than you are today, then I invite you to text me the word more, more, the word more, to 66866 and get my free white paper. That's all there is to it. You pull out your phone, put in the number 66866 and type the word more and hit send, and it'll come back with, hey, something like, you probably just saw Steve Sapato. Yay, that's me. And what they'll ask you to do then is put in your information so that they can send you, so that the system can send you the free white paper on how you can have, do, be, or become more than you are today. Would you like that? I think it'll be worth your while. Matter of fact, I know it will. Just by reading how you can become more will change your life. All right. So as we wrap this up, I want to thank Elena Rayrig and the Transform Mastermind organization because if you don't know her, she's a phenomenal individual who has knowledge that'll blow your mind. And if you become part of the mastermind group, access to all kinds of freebies. And I shouldn't call them free because you're going to be paying $35 a month, but all kinds of stuff that will help you grow your knowledge in every area. I mean, she's got so many different programs that'll blow your mind. As for me, Certainly love to have you talk to me about becoming a speaker. Love to work with you for 6 months or 12 months to make you a professional speaker, help you get those gigs that'll pay you five and $10,000 to go to and speak, help you organize that, help you design your business around speaking. And also love to have you come if you're already somebody who knows they have a message, really wants to be on stage, then come to Speaker Talks. It's speakertalks.events. It's HTTPS :// speakertalks.events for speakers, authors, and people with a message. If you want to grow, if you want to, and we also have a speaking competition too. So if you want to be the best speaker in Tampa, you just want to come and become the best speaker in Tampa, just to compete is fun, right? Get critiqued a little bit on how you can improve what you did really well, get all kinds of applause from the audience. We've got the best speaker in Tampa competition, so love to have you join us on that. Again, write to me at Steve Sapato, or you can go to speakertalks.events in order to buy a ticket to watch, right? Because it's a TEDx type event. So buy a ticket to watch, or you could certainly get on stage and join us and get 2 months worth of speaking training, as well as all kinds of information on how you can be better at what you do. I'm Steve Sapato. If you need anything, please reach out to us. We would love to help you. Again, join us. If you see this on my YouTube channel, please subscribe, and we'll go from there. Steve Sapato or Steve Sapato Seminars on YouTube. Subscribe. We'll be off and running. I hope you have a blessed day and a wonderful weekend. God bless.